this time, we're ready to begin our Dorper show. We need Dorper yearling rams to the ring, please. Dorper yearling rams.
Really good start to your Dorper show here this afternoon at the Big E, and real powerhouse ram to start this yearling ram class off. Really like this ram up through his front end. He really free and easy when he moves about the ring. Tremendously thick muscled ram. Just a real easy winner for this particular class in my estimation. Long-bodied ram here in second. He doesn't tie in quite as nicely down his top line as our first place ram. It's certainly like the bone work on this guy. He offers a tremendous amount of thickness. Back through that hind saddle, real nice fit for me in second place. Run a little coarser made ram here in third place. Just like to correct him down that top, make him a little square out over that dock to get him to push these first two rams in class. And then our smaller statured ram rounds out the class in fourth place. Real good way to start your Dorper show. Let's give these exhibitors a round of applause.
Next class is Fall Ram Lambs. Fall Ram Lambs will be your next class. Judging the Dorper and White Dorper show today is Gary Saylor of Bell Center, Ohio. Gary is the claims supervisor for Agrisampo North America Crop Insurance. He's also an auctioneer and managing partner of the Select Livestock Services. Gary is also the assistant shepherd for his grandchildren with their Little Oaks Livestock Natural Colored Sheep. Let's welcome Gary Saylor to the Big E. Placing on the class of yearling rams for the Dorpers, first place goes to entry 87, Legacy Hill Farm 2417, Tina Fisk Colt, Clayville, Rhode Island. That ram weighing 261 pounds. Second place, first in the junior show to entry 86, Ryan Dorpers D 4623, Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. That ram weighing 258. Third place to 85, Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 231. And fourth place to entry 91, Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts.
Your senior Ram Lambs in your Dorper show. Easy winner for me in this particular class, a real heavy structured type of sheep. He's the heaviest bone ram in the class. I really like the muscle shape on this guy. He carries out well out over that hip, carries into an expressive leg. Just a pretty easy winner for me in this particular class. A little closer between our second and third place rams, a little longer bodied ram here in second, a little bigger boned ram over our third place ram. Our third place ram is going to wind up the class, a little finer featured type of ram, a little frail in his makeup, maybe giving up a little age. I'm not sure the birth date on these guys, but this is the way we like him today. Congratulations on a good set.
Now showing for senior champion and reserve senior champion ram. Placing on the fall ram lamb class first and open first in the junior division goes to entry 90, South Grove Dorpers, 0313, Victoria Robinson, Swansea, New Hampshire. That ram weighing 168. Second to 88, Highloft Farm 0731, Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 147. Third to entry 89, Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 138.
Four nice rams out here in your senior champion ram drive this afternoon. Rams that are really good and functional. They're good and correct on their feet and legs. Really like the masculinity on this yearling ram. He's going to be your senior champion ram today. We're going to go ahead and follow him with the second yearling ram for reserve senior champion. Congratulations.
Senior champion ram goes to the first place yearling ram, entry number 87, Legacy Hill Farm 2417, Tina Fisk Colt, Clayville, Rhode Island. The reserve champion was second in that yearling ram class, entry 86, Ryan Dorpers D 4623, Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. Again, now ready to show winter ram lambs. In the 1930s, the South African Department of Agriculture, working with local sheep producers, began a long-range research and development project to produce a meat sheep breed that would yield a higher quality carcass and thrive under the arid to semi-arid conditions of that region. Early breeding experiments revealed that the cross of the Dorset Horn and the Blackhead Persian sheep produce the most desired attributes. The name Dorper comes from the combination of the names of those two parent breeds when the breeding project was finalized in 1946. The first Dorper sheep were imported into the United States from South Africa in the early 1990s. These first Dorper imports were put under a 5-year scrapie quarantine by USDA. In June of 1995, the first Dorper and White Dorper embryo transfer lambs were born from South African embryos in recipient ewes imported from Canada.
I think we've got a nice pair of rams that surfaced to the top of your winter class here. Two rams in first and second are a little larger statured in this class. We've got some differences in these bucks. Our first place ram, a little longer bodied ram than that second place ram. One thing I like to change on him, he's not quite as nice up through that chest floor as our second place ram is. He's a notch thicker out over that tailhead than our second place ram. I think we got a nice pair in 1 and 2. Good correct ram here in second place. Really like this guy on his feet and legs. Just need to thicken him up a little bit out in that tailhead region. Get him to push that buck in first hole today. A little smaller statured ram here in third place. Ram, you appreciate him for his overall length. He's a little heavier boned than the bucks that fall in line behind him in this particular class. I just like that about him. I like the way he gets about the show ring, really free and easy in his movement. A little fresher made lamb here in fourth place. Doesn't appear to be quite as far along in his maturity pattern as some of the bucks ahead of him. A ram that maybe his better days are ahead of him. He just runs out of gas in terms of overall mass and muscling as compared to the rams above him. We're going to have to use him in the 4-hole today. A ram in fifth place here, a ram that once again you'd just like to finish him out. We get in that final 1/3 of his body, get him to carry that thickness back over that from his hooks to his pins now to through that tailhead to get him to move up any higher. Like the feet and legs on this guy, just need to thicken him up a little bit to get him to compete with the bucks ahead of him. And we're going to finish up with a ram in class here, a little frailer made type of sheep. Doesn't have quite the bone work as the top 5 rams in the class, and a little lighter about his muscle and some of the rams ahead of him. Good class of ram lambs. Once again, let's give these exhibitors a round of applause.
Next class will be spring ram lambs. Placing on the class of winter ram lambs for our Dorper show. And this is the National Northeastern Regional Dorper show. First in the junior division goes to entry 97. Griffin Dorpers T022504. Griffin April, New Sharon, Maine. And that ram weighed 173. Second in the junior show to entry 93. Blake Huff 12. Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut, and that ram weighed 175. Third place to 95, Tina Fisk Colt, Clayville, Rhode Island, that ram weighing 128. 4 to entry 94, Gerald Tracy, Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. 5 to entry 96, Tina Fisk Colt, Clayville, Rhode Island. 6 to entry 92, Glenn King, Highlaw Farm, Sutton, Massachusetts.
your spring ram lambs and your Dorper show here. Just 3 entries in this particular class. I told the young man, I said, don't look so surprised when you're told to be you're going to be first. So it's what you're out here to do. So anyways, really like this ram, and where he wins out is when I put him in motion and watch him walk around the ring. This guy holds his top line much better than the other 2 ram lambs in the class. He's good and clean up through his front end, doesn't have quite the overall body length that we've got in our ram in second, but he just has more good things about him today. Congratulations, you're a class winner. Little bigger volumed ram here in second place. Ram that, once again, if I could just get him to hold himself together up through those front shoulders and down that top, when I watch him walk out throughout the ring, maybe we could go ahead and use him in this class. But I'd just like to correct him in those areas. We're going to go ahead and use him in second place today. Then our smaller framed ram here is just lacking some bone work and some muscle structure that we'd like to see to get him to contend with these rams in first and second. Congratulations.
Placing on the Dorper Spring Ram Lamb class, first and open first in the junior show to entry 99, Blake Huff 13, Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut, with a lamb weighing 136. Second in the junior show to 98, Griffin Dorper C, 2508, Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine, with a ram weighing 150. Third place to entry 100, Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts, that ram weighing 88. We're now showing pair of ram lambs. Our next class will be for the junior champion ram in reserve. Placing on the pair of ram lambs for our Dorper show, first place goes to Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. Second place to Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut. Third to Tina Fisk Colt, Clayville, Rhode Island. And 4 to Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts. Again, now ready to show for junior champion and reserve junior champion ram.
Four really nice young rams out here in your junior champion ram drive. Four rams. What I like about these four, they're all really correct on their feet and legs. They're really good about their bone work. They have a lot of thicks and masses to them. Really just like the way these sheep are made for your junior champion in reserve today. They're going to come out of your first class here. Your first place winner will be your junior champion. I'm going to go on back to our second place in that same class for reserve. Congratulations. Good job.
Open Show Junior Champion Ram goes to entry number 97, first in the Winter Ram Lamb class, Griffin Dorper's T022504, Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. The reserve champion was second in that Winter Ram Lamb class, entry 93, Blake Huff 12, Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut. We're now ready to show for Open Show, Grand and Reserve Grand Champion Ram. Once we have selected the Grand and Reserve Grand Champion, we'd like for those junior exhibitors that are out here showing for this overall Grand to stay in place. The American Dorper Sheep Breeders Society will offer banners to the Grand and Reserve Grand Champion Ram in both the Dorper and White Dorper shows, as well as in the junior show.
Again, I think we've got four really good individuals out here in your champion Dorper Ram Drive in today's Open Show. Bucks that have some really good Dorper qualities about them. Really happy with the type and kind that we have here, and I've talked about each one of these individuals already, so we're not going to rehash that. Today, your champion Ram is going to be this first place yearling Ram. Congratulations, girls. For reserve, I'm going to go back here and snag this junior champion. Congratulations.
Blake, stay out here. Our Open Show Grand Champion goes to entry 87, our senior champion Ram, out of the yearling Ram class, Legacy Hill Farm 2417, Tina Fisk Colt, Clayville, Rhode Island. The reserve Grand Champion goes to entry 97, our junior champion Ram. Entry 97 was the class winner of the Winter Ram Lamb class, Griffin Dorper's T022504, Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. So we do need entry number 86, the yearling Ram from Griffin Averill in the ring. We need entry 90 from Victoria Robinson from the Fall Ram Lamb class. We need entry 93 from the Winter Ram Lamb class of Blake and Thomas Huff. And we need entry 99 from Blake and Thomas Huff from the Spring Ram Lamb class.
for your junior show. We already picked the champion because he was reserve in the open show. So this intermediate or winter ram lamb here will be your champion, the junior show ram. For reserve, we're going to go right with a ram that stood right behind him in class. He'll be reserve. Congratulations.
Our junior show reserve champion ram goes to entry 98 out of the spring ram lamb class. Pardon me, to entry 93 out of the winter ram lamb class, Blake Huff 12. Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut. Now ready for Best Headed Ram. Best Headed Ram will be your next class. And South Grove Farm of Swansea, New Hampshire offers an award to the Best Headed Dorper Ram. Final call for Best Headed Ram entries. Final call.
One thing you need to know when it comes to Dorper ram heads is pretty really isn't a good thing. Okay. So we talk about masculine heads in this breed. For all you guys out there, that kind of means a tad ugly. But we got a ram here that's got a really good Dorper head on him. It's going to be your champion ram. Congratulations.
Best Headed Ram goes to entry 87, our yearling ram, Legacy Hill Farm 2417, Tina Fisk Colt, Clayville, Rhode Island. Now ready in the ring for yearling ewes. Yearling ewes will be your next class. Here's the first Dorper trivia question. In 2015, 10 years ago, who was the breeder that won 6 of the 14 classes, as well as a Grand Champion Ram, Grand Champion Ewe, plus the Exhibitor's Flock, Breeder's Flock, and Premier Breeder? And the correct answer is Riverwood Farms of Ohio.
Really a super class of Dorper yearling ewes, and a lot of fun for me as a judge to sit here and work through these and sort the ones I like the best and get these top 6 up here and then compare them to one another a little more closely. I think this is just a tremendous class, and I hope you folks ringside will show your appreciation here when I'm done running my mouth and give these exhibitors a big round of applause. But this ewe that wins this class for me, I love this ewe, her front 1/3 of her body. She is so feminine and cool looking up through there. Yet when you get on top of her and handle her down through her top, she's got a big rack in her, a big hip in her. Man, that is a brood ewe right there. And she's not only a brood ewe, she's a doggone good show ewe today. Congratulations, young man, you're doing a good job. Big ribbed ewe here in second place. Love the rib shape on this female. She just has brood ewe written all over her. She's going to be one productive female. Love the bone work on her. She's not quite as nice up through that front shoulder and through that front chest as the ewe ahead of her. But boy, there's a really good Dorper female in second place. I like her a lot also. Congratulations. Our ewe here in third, another one that comes to you, really super feminine up through her front end. She's given up some length of body compared to ewes in 1 and 2 today, but really smooth down through her top, explosive again through that rack, good and level out through that hip, and a solid set of feet and legs. She just runs out of gas a little bit as compared to our ewes in first and second. Our fourth place ewe, long-bodied ewe, really like that. She probably does not carry quite as true out through from her hooks to her pins in terms of squareness as a couple ewes ahead of her in this class, but I really like this ewe a lot. She's really clean up through her front end. She doesn't have quite the bone work. She's the lightest boned ewe of the top 4. That's going to hurt her a little bit in this tough class today. We're going to put her in the 4 hole, but there's another nice Dorper female in fourth. Our fifth place ewe, another ewe, really smooth when you handle this ewe, but when you put her in motion, she kind of falls apart down her top line, just doesn't hold herself quite together as well as the ewes ahead of her. She's definitely worthy of being up here at the front end of this class. Our fifth place ewe, she looked really good when we had her out here in class, but the closer I got her towards the top, she just runs out of gas. She's a little shorter than some of the ewes, well, she's shorter than all the ewes above her. She's not quite as neat in that chest. She's got a lot of thickness down through her top, carries out to that tail head really nice, certainly worthy of a top 6 finish in a really tough class. Congratulations, exhibitors. That was a good one.
We are now ready for pair of yearling ewes. Results from the yearling ewe class. First place in open, first in the junior show to entry 108. R.R. Dorpers North, 2397. Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut. That ewe weighing 175. Second place to entry in both the open and junior to entry 110. Griffin Dorper, D022412. Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. That ewe weighing 195. Third in open, third in the junior show to 105. Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut. That ewe weighing 173. Fourth place to entry number fourth in open, fourth in junior to 123. Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut. Fifth in open, fifth in the junior show to entry 115. Victoria Robinson, Swansea, New Hampshire. Sixth in open, sixth in the junior show to 109. Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. Seventh in open to entry 113. Tina Fisk Colt, Clayville, Rhode Island. Eighth place to entry number 112. Tina Fisk Colt, Clayville, Rhode Island. 9, 7th in the junior show to 111. Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. 10, 8th in junior show to entry 114. Vanessa Robinson of Swansea, New Hampshire. Next class is Fall You Lambs. Placing on the pair yearling U class, first place goes to Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut. Second place to Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. Third to Tina Fisk Colt, Clayville, Rhode Island. Fourth place to Vanessa Robinson, Swansea, New Hampshire. 5 to Victoria Robinson, Swansea, New Hampshire. Sixth place to Gerald Tracy, Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. And 7 to Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts. We had to go a little bit different to get these other trivia questions for the Dorpers. So 12 years ago at the 2018, is that right? 7 years ago at the 2018 Big E, who exhibited the Grand Champion Dorper Ram? And the answer to that trivia question from 7 years ago for the 2018 Big E, the exhibitor of the Grand Champion Dorper Ram, Riverwood.
Good bunch in your senior ewe lamb class to work through, and the young ladies bring you a real long-bodied ewe, tremendously long from her 13th rib back. Maybe like to clean her up a little bit in that front end, but she just offers me too much length today. Really good on those feet and legs. I think she just excels from too many things to not use her. She's going to win the class. Maybe a little squarer made ewe lamb here in second place in terms of she's much squarer out through that hip area, but she's just given up so much length, so much front end extension compared to this first place ewe lamb. I got to put her in the 2-hole today. Our third place ewe lamb, she just doesn't want to be here today. She's just been fighting these girls from the get-go. Here's a ewe lamb that's got some thickness about her. She's a little coarser made up through her front end and the 2 ewe lambs ahead of her. We're going to use her in a 3-hole today. A pretty package here in 4. She just runs out of gas compared to the 3 ewe lambs above her, but she's a smooth pattern lamb. She's good on her feet and legs. A little shorter stature than the ewe lambs above her, but she's too good to put down any farther. She's going to wind up in 4-hole today. Our 5th place ewe lamb is a little larger framed ewe lamb, a ewe lamb that doesn't tie in quite as nicely down her top line and out through from her hooks to her pins as the 4 ewe lambs above her. She's good and correct on those feet and legs. We're going to use her in 5 today. Then our ewe lamb to wind up the class. We just need to give her more thickness entirely down her top line, give her more bone to push any of the ewes above her. Good class to sort through. Congratulations, exhibitors.
Placing on the fall ewe lamb class for our Dorper show, first place in both the open and the junior goes to entry 136. South Grove Dorpers 0293. Victoria Robinson, Swansea, New Hampshire. That ewe weighing 151. Second in open and junior show to entry 131. BW4 Dorpers F427. Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut, that ewe weighing 142. Third to entry 132, Victoria Robinson, Swansea, New Hampshire, that ewe weighing 151. Fourth place to entry 133, Gerald Tracy, Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. 5 to 134, Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts. And sixth place to entry 135, Highloft Farm, Glen King of Sutton, Massachusetts.
Your senior champion U drive here in your Dorper show today. This is really easy for me. We've got 2 yearling ewes that come out of an extremely tough class. Not much more to say about these ewes. We've talked about them in class. They're going to be your senior champion and reserve senior champion. Congratulations.
Open Show Senior Champion U goes to entry 108. First in the yearling U class, R.R. Dorper's North, 2397, Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut. The Reserve Senior Champion to entry 110. Also out of the yearling U class, Griffin Dorper, D. 022412, Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. Now ready for winter ewe lambs.
Interesting class to line up. Sure got a lot of differences out here, and maybe things didn't fall in quite as nicely for me as I analyze these ewe lambs. I'm going to start with, I think, is without a doubt the most complete ewe lamb in the class, and she may be the youngest ewe lamb in the class, but she's really good and straight down through her top. She's correct as could be on her feet and legs. I think when she gets a little more age on her and catches up with some of these other, she may be kind of special, but I really like that ewe lamb in terms of her overall completeness. She's going to win this class today. A little bigger bodied ewe lamb here in second place. I appreciate this ewe lamb for her length. She doesn't tie in quite as nicely down her top line as our first place ewe in class. But I think there's ewe. It looks like she's going to make a really nice size ewe down the line when she matures into a yearling ewe. Big volume, high bodied ewe here in third place. Really like the rib shape on this female. Again, I just like clean her up, the notch up through her front end. Hope everybody got that. Anyways, our third place shoe is a little more bored up through her front end. I just like clean her up there through there to get her to move any higher in class. The young man's ewe lamb here in fourth place. Really a long-bodied ewe lamb. When I handle her down through her top, she just doesn't handle with the overall uniformity and firmness that I'd like to see. I'd like to see her a little more square out through that hip to get her to move any higher. Really like the bone work on her. Smaller stature ewe lamb here in fifth place. I appreciate the correctness of the feet and legs. She's just getting out-horsed by 4 ewe lambs ahead of her today. Really nice and complete in her own right. We just need to get a little more gas in her tank to get her to compete. Congratulations on a good set.
Placing on the winter ewe lamb class, first place to and first in open as well to 145. Griffin Dorper C012511. Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine, that ewe weighing 110. Second place to entry 144. Birchwood Farm 40. Birchwood Farm, Tina Colt or Fisk Colt, Clayville, Rhode Island. That ewe weighing 138. Third, second in the junior show to 140. Griffin Dorper D 032516. Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. That ewe weighing 134. Fourth, third in the junior show to Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut. Fifth to entry 143. Gerald Tracy, Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. Sixth place to 141, Tina Colt Fisk, Clayville, Rhode Island. 7 to entry 142, Tina Colt Fisk, Clayville, Rhode Island. 8, 4 in the junior show to 147, Victoria Robinson, Swansea, New Hampshire. 9 to entry 137, Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts. And 10 to entry number 138, Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts.
just 3 entries in your junior ewe lamb class, and we're just going to leave them like they're lined up. They really sorted themselves nice for me today, and this ewe lamb to win the class with, she's the thickest down through her top. She's the squarest out through that hip. I mean, you can just see that when she walks about the ring. She's nice, free, and easy. I think she wins this class real handily. The next one's the most closely that follows her right here in second place. Maybe not quite the mass down through her top as that first place ewe lamb. Certainly a ewe lamb that offers some cleanness up through that front end. Really like the rib shape on her. Looks like she's going to grow into a tremendous yearling ewe. Our ewe lamb to finish up the class, kind of a smooth made lamb. Just like to maybe pick her tail head up a little bit, give her a little more bone work to get her to push the ewe lambs above her. Congratulations.
Now ready for a pair of ewe lambs. Placing on the spring ewe lamb class, first place and open first in the junior show to 148. Griffin Dorpers, C, 2509. Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine, that ewe weighing 126. Second and open second in the junior show to 149. Griffin Dorpers, C, 042512. Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine, that ewe weighing 115. Third place to entry number 150. Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts, that ewe weighing 88 pounds. Placing on the pair of ewe lambs class, first place goes to Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. Second place to Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut. Third place to Tina Colt Fisk, Clayville, Rhode Island. 4 to Gerald Tracy, Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. 5 to Victoria Robinson, Swansea, New Hampshire. 6th place to Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts. Now showing for Open Show Junior Champion and Reserve Junior Champion ewe.
For really complete individuals out here in your junior champion ewe drive and your Dorper show, ewe lambs that are really good and correct. A lot of similarities in these sheep. I like that when I get to 4 of them out here, can kind of compare them to one another. Today, your junior champion ewe is going to be your first place spring ewe lamb. I'm going to jump up here with the first place winner for reserve. Congratulations.
Our Open Show Junior Champion ewe goes to entry 148 out of the Spring Ewe Lamb class, Griffin Dorper C2509, Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. The Open Reserve Junior Champion ewe was entry 145 out of the Winter Ewe Lamb class, Griffin Dorpers C-012511, Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. Now showing for overall Open Grand Champion and Reserve Grand Champion ewe. The American Dorper Sheep Breeders Society will provide banners to the Grand and Reserve Grand Champion ewe, as in both the Open and the Junior show for both the Dorper and the White Dorper shows.
One thing I've always disliked as I've watched shows and participated in shows through the years is when they drag out a champion show when it's pretty plain and simple, and so let's just name the champion and get it over with. That's what we're going to do. These 2 yearling ewes come out of an extremely tough class. A young man brings you a really good one. You're going to have grand champion ewe, and we're going to follow her up for reserve with our reserve senior champion. Congratulations.
Our Grand Champion ewe for both the Open and the Junior show goes to entry number 108 out of the yearling ewe class, R.R. Dorpers North, 2397, Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut. Our Reserve Grand Champion ewe for both the Open and the Junior show goes to entry 110. Our Reserve Senior Champion out of that second to that in the yearling ewe class, Griffin Dorper D. 052412, Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. Now ready to show for Best Headed Ewe.
Really good competition out here for Best Headed Ewe in the Dorper show. And there's not a nickel's worth of difference on a lot of these heads. They're really good, sound, fundamentally sound heads, made the way they're supposed to. Good hair coat on them. There's one out here that I've always went by the thought that if it's really close and my champion ewes out here, she's going to win. So she's your Best Headed Ewe. Congratulations.
Best Headed Ewe goes to entry 108 out of the yearling ewe class, R.R. Dorpers North, 2397, Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut. Now ready for Exhibitor's Flock. Exhibitor's Flock is your next class. That Best Headed Ewe received an award from High Law Farm. Glenn King of Sutton, Massachusetts provided that. Placing on the exhibitors flock for the Dorper Show, first place goes to Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. Second place to Blake and Thomas Huff, Pomfret Center, Connecticut. Third place to Tina Fisk Colt of Clayville, Rhode Island. Fourth place to Gerald Tracy, Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. 5, Victoria Robinson, Swansea, New Hampshire. And sixth place, Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts. Placing on the breeders' flock, first place to Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. Second place, Tina Fisk Colt, Clayville, Rhode Island. Third, Gerald Tracy, Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. 4, Victoria Robinson, Swansea, New Hampshire. And 5 to Glen King, Highloft Farm, Sutton, Massachusetts. Now ready for Get of Sire. We will be taking about a 10-minute break between the conclusion of the Dorper Show and the beginning of the White Dorper Show. Placing on the Get of Sire class for our Dorper Show, first place goes to Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. Second place to Tina Fisk Colt of Clayville, Rhode Island. Third, Victoria Robinson, Swansea, New Hampshire. Fourth place, Gerald Tracy, Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. And 5 to Highloft Farm, Glen King, Sutton, Massachusetts. Our premier exhibitor and premier breeder both go to Griffin Averill, New Sharon, Maine. And the special Junior Premier Breeder Award, a cash award presented by Bailey Ridge of $500, also goes to Griffin Averill of New Sharon, Maine.
Wow, what a good way to start the White Dorper show. We've got 2 yearling rams and 2 good ones to talk about. I'm going to start with the ram. Really love the rib shape on this guy. Big barrel rib buck. A lot of depth to his body. He's really thick down to his top. He's big boned. He has the look of a stud ram. He's going to jump out and win this class. A nice ram here in second. Little smaller statured ram. He doesn't have quite the explosion through that rib cage, but he's really smooth when you handle him down through his top. He's a notch smoother down his top than our first place ram. Really carries out well into that hip. He's just giving away some mass as compared to this first ram in the class today. 2 really good rams to start your show.
Placing on the yearling ram class, first place goes to entry 173, East Star Livestock, 2421, East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio, that ram weighing 230. Second place to 178, Prairie Wind, WD 2422223, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York.
Two really nice rams surface to the top here in your senior ram lamb class. Two rams are an awful lot alike, but when you really look at them, you got a little give and take on these. Our first place ram's a tremendously long ram. Really like that about him. He's true down through that top, maybe a notch truer down his top than our second place ram. He carries out over that tail head a little better than our second place ram. Like a second place ram's front third a little better than our class winner. He's really clean up through that chest floor and through the point of that shoulder. He just doesn't have the thickness back from his hooks to his pins that we've got in the first place buck. There's two really nice ones in first and second. A little coarser made ram here in third place. He just doesn't have that show ring appeal as the first two bucks in the class. You really like this guy for his bone work, his strength on his feet and legs. We just need to get him have a little more eye appeal, maybe make him a little better from his hips to get him to compete with the first two rams in the class. Then the ram in fourth place, the narrowest made ram of the four rams in this particular class. Another ram that's really good footed. He's correct on those feet and legs. He just lacks the thickness that we've got in the three rams above him. We see him in the four hole today. Congratulations. That's a good set top to bottom.
Placing on the white Dorper Fall Ram Lamb class, first place goes to entry 185. Bailey Ridge Farm 0043. Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. That ram weighing 187. Second place to 179. East Star Livestock 2504. East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. That ram weighing 163. Third place to entry 180, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. That ram weighing 180. And fourth place to 183, Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York.
Your senior champion ram drive here in your white Dorper show. And if these four bucks are any indication, this is going to be a heck of a good show for me to sort through. I think we've got four really good individuals out here, a lot of similarities in these bucks. I really like the overall mass of this yearling ram. He's going to be your senior champion ram today. I'm going to drop back here for our first place senior ram lamb. He's going to be reserved. Congratulations. That's a good set of bucks.
Senior champion ram goes to entry 173, first place yearling ram, East Star Livestock 2421. East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. The reserve senior champion ram goes to the first place fall ram lamb. Entry 185, Bailey Ridge Farm 0043. Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. Now ready for white Dorper winter ram lambs.
Another good set in your class of winter ram lambs. These Dorper rams today are really good quality. They're really deep in the classes, and just wish we had bigger classes, but we've got some good ones out here, and we've got a real complete ram to start this class with. Ram that offers me a lot of expression and muscling. He's really straight down through his top. He's a notch cleaner up through his front shoulder than our ram in second place. Oh, high volume buck here in second place. I appreciate that about him. Big rib on this buck. He just made this a little coarser, especially up through that front end than our first place buck in class. This is the way I like these two today. A little smaller statured ram here in third place. He's just given up a lot of thickness as compared to these two bucks ahead of him. Maybe he'll catch up in time, and he's a little shorter made type of sheep. He's going to wind up in third today. A good set. Congratulations, exhibitors.
Placing on the winter ram lamb class, first place goes to entry 186, Two Rock Ranch, 25 Dup 000, Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. That ram weighed 149. Second place to entry 187, Bailey Ridge Farm, 0090, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. That ram weighing 156. Third to entry 107, Credence Farm, Nick Cron, Millerton, New York. Lamb weighing 129 pounds.
Just two entries in your junior ram lamb class, and they fall in line real nice for me. That's a pretty good guy here in first place. I really like the way he's made, like the rib on this ram. He's really straight and true down his top. He carries out much better from his hooks to his pins than our second place ram in this class. Another deep bodied big rib buck here in second. I just like to see him carry out a little better down through that top line. Doesn't have quite the overall thickness of muscling that we have in our first place ram. Nice pair. Congratulations.
Now ready to show pair ram lambs. Placing on the spring ram lamb class, first place goes to entry 190, Bailey Ridge Farm, 0123, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. That ram weighing 129. Second place to 191, Two Rock Ranch, 25082, Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. That ram weighing 124. Placing on the White Dorper Pair Ram Lamb class, first place to 194, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. Second place to 197, Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. Now showing for Junior Champion Ram and Reserve.
Again, a good set of bucks out here in your Junior Champion Ram Drive and the White Dorper Show. Four individuals, really good representatives of the White Dorper breed. I think we've got two, our class winners here, the ones we're looking at in consideration for Junior Champion Ram. A little longer made ram here in our winter ram lamb. And boy, we got a junior ram lamb here, spring ram lamb that really shows me some rib shape. Be interesting to see what he grows up to be. I think we could go either way here. I'm going to elect to use a little longer bodied ram, so your winter ram's going to be your junior champion today, and we're going to come back here with your spring ram for reserve. Congratulations, guys.
Junior Champion Ram was entry number 186 out of the Winter Ram Lamb class, Two Rock Ranch, 25000. Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. The Reserve Junior Champion was entry 190 from the Spring Ram Lamb class, Bailey Ridge Farm, 0123. Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey of Palatine Bridge, New York. Now showing for Grand and Reserve Grand Champion Ram.
Four real cool individuals out here in your Champion Ram Drive. I tell you, it's been a really, really high quality White Dorper Ram show. Any indication the females are going to knock it out of the park. I tell you, I'm going to go ahead and use this yearling ram. I just think he's got a look of a stud buck. He's going to be your champion ram today. I'm going to drop right back here with our fall buck that was reserve senior champion. He's going to be reserved. Congratulations.
Grand Champion Ram goes to entry 173. 173 was our senior champion ram out of the yearling ram class. East Star Livestock 2421. East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. The reserve grand champion was entry 185, our reserve senior champion out of the fall ram lamb class. Bailey Ridge Farm 0043. Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. Now ready for Best Headed Ram. Best Headed Ram goes to entry 173, our overall grand champion ram out of the yearling ram class. East Star Livestock 2421. East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. And they receive an award presented by O'Keefe Brothers, Marlborough, Connecticut. The Grand and Reserve Grand Champion Rams also received awards sponsored by the American Dorper Sheep Breeders Society. Now ready to move into White Dorper Yearling Ewes, please. White Dorper Yearling Ewes.
Wow, that was a tough one. That is a very, very good class of white Dorper females. I don't know that we'll see one any tougher in the country this year. We'll see what happens in November on the green shavings, but that's a good class of ewes. I tell you, we get all the way down. There are 8 really good white Dorper females in this class, and just a massive ewe to start this class with. Look at the depth on her. She just has production written all over her. She's got a lot of right things about her. Tremendously thick down through her top. She's excellent on those feet and legs. Carries herself, for as big a ewe as that is, she carries herself throughout the show ring with no issues at all. I think that's a really good female. She surfaced to the top for me today. Congratulations, that's a good one. Really long-bodied ewe here in second. Maybe does not hold her top line together quite as nicely as that first place ewe, but I really like the length on this ewe. Little plainer up through her front end in our first place ewe, but really like the hip on this ewe. I like her overall length. She just slid right into that 2-hole for me today really easily. Like this ewe here in third place, also another deep barrel-ribbed ewe. Just looks like she's got production written all over her. Handles really good down through her top. She's excellent on her feet and legs. She's a notch shorter from the profile than our ewes in first and second, but really a good fit for me in third. One that's similar type and kind here in fourth place. A ewe that maybe is a notch straighter down her top than our third place ewe. A ewe that maybe is a notch shorter bodied than our third place ewe. So a little give and take there. I like to slide her in the 4-hole today. There's a nice group of ewes. Another ewe down here in fifth place. So she's as smooth as could be. I'd like to extend her a little more up through her front third of her body. She gets a little round fronted for me, but boy, a tremendously thick top on her. She's very good boned. She's really good out through that hip. Really a nice kind of female. If I could extend her, clean up her front end just a skosh, we could probably move her up a couple holes in this class. Really super class of the white Dorper females. Give these exhibitors a big round of applause.
Now ready for a pair of yearling ewes. Placing on the yearling ewe class for the White Dorper show. First place goes to entry number 200, High Joe Dorpers 1622. Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. That ewe weighing 225 pounds. Second place to 201, Two Rock Ranch 23155. Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. That ewe weighing 205. Third place to 199, East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. That ewe weighing 185. 4 to entry 202, East Star Livestock. 5 to entry 207, Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. 6th place to entry number 198, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. 7 to 205, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey. And 8th place to entry 204, Credence Farm, Nick Cron, Millerton, New York. Now ready for White Fall ewe lambs, White Dorper Fall ewe lambs. Placing on the pair yearling ewe class, first place to entry 211, East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. Second place to Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. And third to Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York.
Wow, this thing just keeps getting tougher and tougher. This is a heck of a good class of ewe lambs, and boy, up here, really the whole 7. They're just real super. I can't say enough about what I've found in this white Dorper show today. This is just a real sweetheart to start this class with. It's hard to pick a hole in this female, and I'm working through my mind. Is she adequate in her thickness? She's not a notch. Not quite as thick out through her hip as our second place ewe lamb, but man, she is just smooth and straight down through that top. I love this female up through her front end. She's just perfect on those feet and legs. I think that's a pretty good one. Like I said, if I made her just a skosh thicker out through her hip, I think we'd have a super one in the ring right here. Our second place ewe lamb, the longer this ewe lamb went out here in the class, the more she grew on me. She tends to pull back every once in a while, but when she gets over that, that's a really nice female. I really like the length of her. I like her at her chest floor. Just offers a lot of length, and that hip on her is phenomenal. I think that's another really good one there in third place. Or in second place, our ewe lamb in third. Another one that's smooth. She's got great shape about her muscle. She's not as long. She's the shortest hind saddled of our top 3. But boy, you look at the rib shape on this ewe lamb and her cleanness up through her shoulder, especially there at that point of shoulder. That's another really good one there in third hole. Just a tremendous class. And we get down into our ewe lamb in fourth. The ewe lamb, it opens up in her shoulder blade just a little bit for me when I get her on the move today. But here's a ewe lamb, and when she grows up to be a yearling ewe, she's going to be a big barrel-ribbed ewe, a real productive type of female. You got to like that about her. But for me, she's going to land in the 4 hole today. Our fifth place ewe lamb, a little longer bodied ewe lamb than that fourth place ewe lamb. She just doesn't stay wide from her hooks to her pins when I get behind her and view her. Just like to make her a little more thicker, and we could push her up a spot if we could do that. I think we got a tremendous class. Even our ones down here in 6 and 7 are really good ewe lambs. Super class. Give these exhibitors a round of applause.
Now ready to select our senior champion and reserve senior champion ewe. Results from the fall ewe lamb class. First place goes to entry 219, Bailey Ridge Farm 0044. Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. That ewe weighing 144. Second place to entry number 182, East Star Livestock 2506. East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. That ewe weighing 132. Third place to 216, Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. That ewe weighing 144. Fourth place to entry number 213, East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. 5 to 214, East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron. Sixth place to 217, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. And 7 to 218, Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York.
We're really pleased what we have here in our senior champion drive in the White Dorper show. We had two very, very competitive classes in that yearling ewe and fall ewe lamb class. We've got four really high quality individuals out of here. Today for me, your senior champion ewe is going to be your first place yearling ewe. I'm going to follow her up for reserve senior champion with our second place yearling ewe. Congratulations.
Senior champion ewe for our National Northeastern Regional White Dorper show goes to entry number 200 out of the yearling ewe class, High Joe Dorpers, 1622, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. The reserve senior champion to our second place yearling ewe, entry 201, Two Rock Ranch, 23155, Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. Now ready for winter ewe lambs.
Really like this one that comes to the forefront in this class. Really my kind, the white Dorper female. She has some length. Really like the rib shape on this shoe. Really good on her feet and legs. I think just a real complete one to surface to the top. Congratulations, that's a nice female. A little smaller statured one here in second place, and when I get these two ewe lambs together, she just gets out-horsed a little bit in terms of overall length of body, in terms of overall stretch up through that front end. I'd just like to give her a little more extension up there in that area. Really like the hip on this. I like her expression of muscling. She slides into second place for me today real easily. Our third place ewe lamb, a little cleaner fronted ewe lamb here. A ewe lamb that doesn't tie in quite as nicely down that top line as our first two ewe lambs in class. Maybe like to give her a little more thickness in her rear third to get her to push those first two ewe lambs. A ewe lamb that has a tremendous amount of style about her. She's easy on the eyes. She's a nice fit in third place for me today. Our fourth place ewe lamb, a ewe lamb that really handles good, straight, true down her top. She's good about her feet and legs. Just a really complete ewe lamb. She fits into the four hole really nice for me today. Our fifth place ewe lamb, a ewe lamb that has a really good rib shape about her. She's really good on her feet and legs. She really gives up a little bit on her rear third. She doesn't carry out quite as nicely from her hooks to her pins. We're going to use her in fifth today. Another really good class of white Dorper females. Congratulations, exhibitors.
Next class, spring ewe lambs. Placing on the white Dorper winter ewe lamb class for the National Northeastern Regional White Dorper Show. First place goes to entry 229. East Star Livestock 2536. East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. That ewe weighing 140. Second place to entry 222. Two Rock Ranch 25007. Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. That ewe weighing 129. Third place to entry number 226. Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. That ewe weighing 123. Fourth place to 223, East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. 5 to 225, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. Sixth place to 227, Caitlin Cross, Bern, New York. And 7 to entry 235, Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York.
Four really good individuals out here in your spring ewe lamb class in your white Dorper show. We've got one that comes to the top of this class. Man, when she's on the move out here, she's got a little cocky look to her. I mean, she likes to prance around, and she's showing me that, hey, I'm going to win this class. And that's just exactly what she does. I really like this ewe lamb up through her front end, and I like the attitude that she brings to me in the show ring. Really like her out through her hip. Our second place ewe lamb, maybe a notch longer bodied when you look at her from flank to flank. Doesn't carry out over her tail head nearly as well as our first place ewe lamb, but really two nice ewe lambs to be 1 and 2 in this class. Our third and fourth ewe lambs are ewe lambs that shorten up a little bit for me when I view them from the profile. We're going to go a little deeper made ewe here in third place over our fourth place ewe, but really a nice set of white Dorper ewe lambs. Congratulations, exhibitors.
Ibuprofen for the showmanship. Joe always has some too, so I may need ibuprofen before the showmanship. Oh.
I'll go get it.
No, you don't need it yet.
Okay.
Need it about a half hour before the showmanship.
Now showing white Dorper pair of ewe lambs, placing on the spring ewe lamb class. First place goes to entry 231, East Star Livestock 2538, Bingo. Ella Wilkins, St. Paris, Ohio, that ewe weighing 114. Second place to 233, Bailey Ridge Farm 127, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York, that ewe weighing 115. Third place to 234, Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York, that ewe weighing 109. And forward to 232, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. Placing on the pair of ewe lamb class for the White Dorper Show. First place goes to East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. Second place to Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. And third to Emily Vincent, Two Rock Ranch, Bern, New York. Now showing for junior champion and reserve junior champion ewe.
Really good junior female show in your White Dorper show. Just so much quality in all those, both of those classes, all the way from front to rear in the classes. Just can't say enough about the type of sheep we've seen out here. Was really impressed with the depth we had in that winter ewe lamb class. And your first place winter ewe lamb will be junior champion. I'm going to go right back there and use our second place winter ewe lamb for reserve. Congratulations.
Junior champion ewe goes to entry 229 out of the winter ewe lamb class, East Star Livestock 2536. East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. The reserve champion was second in that winter ewe lamb class, entry 222. Two Rock Ranch 25007, Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. Now showing for overall grand and reserve grand champion White Dorper ewe. The American Dorper Sheep Breeders Society offers banners to the champion or grand champion and reserve grand champion in this ewe class.
Well, what a White Dorper show we've had today, and these four females certainly demonstrate just how deep and how good the quality has been. And we've got four super individuals out here. For me, I'm going to use this yearling ewe. She's going to be your grand champion ewe today. Comes a little closer for me for reserve. We know what we're going to have in this yearling ewe, and your reserve senior champion is going to be reserve grand. Congratulations.
Grand champion White Dorper ewe goes to entry number 200, High Joe Dorper, 1622, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. The reserve grand champion is entry 201, our reserve senior champion, second in that yearling ewe class. Two Rock Ranch, 23155, Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. Next class will be Best Headed Dorper ewe. Best headed white Dorper ewe goes to entry number 200, our grand champion ewe. High Joe Dorper's 1622, Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. Now ready for Exhibitor's Flock. Exhibitor's Flock, please. Placing on the Exhibitor's Flock, first place goes to East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. Second place to Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. Third place to Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. Next class is Breeder's Flock. Placing on the Breeder's Flock, first place goes to East Star Livestock, Ron and Holly Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. Second place, Two Rock Ranch, Emily Vincent, Bern, New York. Now ready for Get of Sire. placing on the Get of Sire class, first place goes to East Star Livestock, Holly and Ron Waldron, St. Paris, Ohio. Second place to Emily Vincent, Two Rock Ranch, Bern, New York. And third place to Chris Bailey, Bailey Ridge Farm, Palatine Bridge, New York. Our premier exhibitor and premier breeder were the same in the White Dorper show, and they both are Bailey Ridge Farm, Chris Bailey, Palatine Bridge, New York. If somebody from that organization would come up and pick up your awards, there's 2 stools right up here for you, and Nancy will get them to you.